What's up, Facebook Live? This is The Rage here on the Facebook Live, The Rage. I got Robbie in the house with me as usual. And of course, our moderator, our Wolf Blitzer. He's finally back from the hellhole of Pulaski, New York. Not really, but he's on FaceTime right now with us. Danny Nicholson, everybody. He's alive.
Thank you.
He's in an iPad out of view.
He's an iPad out of view. Today, I promise, well, I'm not going to promise things because it's The Rage, but I'm going to, as close to a promise as possible, tell you that this might be the last day of us being tech problems. And I can't see myself now, so I'm going to move people. There we go. This should be a little bit better. Aha! We're alive. Sorry for the delay, too. WRUB was causing us problems.
Guys, it's all their fault.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Danny's back, so we can actually talk about hockey now, which I'm super excited about. We can also talk a little bit about the International de Football Cup or whatever that's going on.
We're gonna get Danny's analysis on Saudi Arabia football.
Yeah. You missed a lot. You missed a lot since the last episode. We have a new inside joke now, too, we'll get to later.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. It's me, too, so you never have to... that should be even better. But anyway, without further ado, let's get this party started. Let's talk about the thing that everyone's talking about right now, and that is the start of the World Cup. And more specifically, the fact that the United States, along with its pals, are going to have the 2026 World Cup.
Because we should just not even recognize the World Cup's a thing without us this year.
Yeah, I know. Well,
that'd be the American
Is it really a party if the United States isn't there? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, a unified bid. It's really weird, but I think Canada and Mexico each get 10 matches, and then the U.S. does the rest. And I guess it's just going to be in a bunch of different cities.
Well, I think
it's going to be a weird World Cup.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be New York City, Philadelphia, L.A., Mexico City, Toronto are going to be like the big five that are in there. So Toronto being there, that'll be pretty cool for us here in the Rage. But I mean, my opinion on this right now is the United States couldn't get it by themselves. I think that's the big thing. I mean, if you think about countries that have
how often have we bid for it? It's been a...
Well, I mean, they lost to Qatar in 2022, which I don't even know how that's possible. But
well, that's because FIFA's corrupt. I think we all know that one.
Well,
there's no way that bribes weren't a thing.
I know.
Started off the Rage with conspiracy theories.
Now here we go. Robbie's at it again. No, but the United States couldn't get it on itself, so that just is another black eye to United States soccer, which, soccer in this country.
Yeah.
But
like, I don't, like, you don't have to take in the fact that how well the team is when it comes to a bid. Like, if there's any country that's ready for, a World Cup, it's U.S. There's already tons of stadiums and room for it.
It's not even the fact the fact that they don't have this, or it's like a certain number of stadiums they have. You can pick and choose what stadiums
you pick any major stadium in the United
mean,
States, and it'll be fine.
I mean, hell, you can put one at New Era Field if you really wanted to.
If you put the World Cup in a place like Atlanta, traffic's going to be pretty awful, because it already is, like, straight from hell. But
yeah, but I mean, I think it's kind of pathetic that the United States couldn't get it by itself. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much of it's because of the fact that the United States is crapping out in soccer right now, which, I mean, again, not Mr. Soccer guy over here, but, like, but it does seem a little fishy that, countries like Russia can get it by themselves, and Qatar can get one by themselves.
Morocco almost got one by
themselves. Morocco!
The only legitimate competition against the unified.
Morocco almost got one.
So, yeah.
And the United States needed help from its friends, which, may not be their friends in 8 years, too, but, we're not going to get there right now. Danny, how about you? What are your thoughts on this?
I just Googled World Cup of Soccer, and one of the first results was Russia national gear.
So you're a communist, is that what you're telling us?
Yes, exactly.
I don't do communism anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's socialism.
I'm not too well versed on soccer. I just know USA is pretty bad at it.
Yeah.
I did see a photo earlier of the I don't know what they call it in Arabia, but in Saudi, like the prime minister, or
that's the king of Saudi Arabia.
That's the king.
Saudi Arabia is a monarchy still.
Yeah, they have an actual monarchy.
It is a legitimate monarchy.
Yeah, the monarch of Saudi Arabia shaking hands with Vladimir Putin at their game.
Mm-hmm.
So Soccer brings the world together.
I mean, you have a unified 2026 bid, so yeah, I guess.
It brings all of North America together, even though I don't even think Canada's ever been in a World Cup.
Even though we tried to build a wall against one of them, and we're upsetting the prime minister of the other. So it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole thing is just weird.
unification.
This whole thing is just weird. I don't know. But, and looking at this now, I mean, I guess it's going to be cool for the United States. You get to have, I mean, the World Cup final is going to be in the United States, so I think that's probably the big thing out of this. But, again, 2026, the United States, Mexico, Canada. Russia got it itself, Qatar got it itself, Brazil got it by itself.
When was the last time you was in a World Cup? It was
94, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that was the one.
I don't know. Yeah, that's not.
I think that was the last time Brazil won one, too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
Brazil does not deserve any World Cups or anything anymore.
No. They're done with this whole
They
thing.
do not deserve any international events whatsoever.
They have paid their dues for international events for the next 100 years.
They don't even deserve their own national festivals and events.
Oh, that's cruel. All right. Robbie, penalty box. That was too far. No, but
I'm saying that another country should hold them in their own country.
Oh, okay. All right.
The USA presents the National Brazil Fair.
What, like in Syracuse?
Of course. Where else?
You get your free Bruno Mars concert there.
We can give that the opening.
For those of you that don't understand the joke, and it's probably everybody, we were joking off air that because I might be going to a Fits and Tantrums concert tonight, and it's $5 at Canal Side. And I told Danny, I was like, yeah, it's $5 at Canal Side. He goes, oh, yeah, not bad. I saw Bruno Mars for free. So that's the joke behind that. We like to tell you the jokes, too. But anyway, do you believe this guy?
We like to tell them the jokes.
We like to tell them the jokes. We like to have our audience be a part of us.
Oh, you guys.
Danny, take control of the show. Oh wait, you can't.
So give us your best analysis of Saudi football.
Yes.
Right,
Soccer.
Football.
It's soccer.
Football.
It's soccer. You're in America, and you're gonna call it soccer.
This is the only time
Danny, tell us about Saudi Arabia soccer.
All right, so Saudi Arabia has some soccer players on their team.
Okay.
From what I've heard, they have really strong legs that can really kick the ball far. So I'm looking for them to try to kick the ball towards the net, if possible. Maybe even put a little spin on it.
Ooh,
so
whoa.
then they'll have the best chance to score a goal.
You're asking a lot. The spin part's what I think they can't quite do.
Yeah, no,
I mean, Vegas made it to the Cup final. I think Saudi Arabia can score some goals.
Well, I mean, they already lost the game, Danny. So
he's not going as far to say they might win the Cup final, but he's like, they might score some goals.
You know, honestly, we should probably listen to Danny. But
yeah. Before we even get off the topic of World Cup, who's Danny's underdog pick?
Yeah, we need the Danny underdog pick. You know, should we give him a second to look? Okay, yeah, we should probably give him a second to look.
We need Danny's underdog pick.
Yeah, let's give him a second to look at all the teams first,
so that we can laugh at him now. So that
just so you can tell where our underdog picks are. Robbie, you picked Costa Rica, correct?
No, I think it was Egypt.
Or no, he picked Egypt. That's correct. Egypt. And I picked Serbia. So that's where we're at on our underdog picks here. By the way, who are you rooting for? You rooting for anybody?
I really want Argentina.
Argentina?
Yeah. I prefer a Argentina-Brazil final with Argentina smacking Brazil.
Got it. Yeah, I half Polish. I hope Poland wins, but you know. I can't name you a single player, nor do I know all the rules of soccer.
Argentina and Brazil is probably the most heated soccer rivalry when it comes to international games. So if that's the Cup final, that'd be pretty awesome.
All right, Danny, did you get a chance to look at everybody?
Yes, I did, and there are a lot of really nice underdog picks, but I think I'm going to have to go with Tunisia.
Tunisia! Oh, boy.
Tunisia's going to take out Belgium and just cause some chaos in that group G there.
Oh, just coming in, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Sabres prospect, just signed with the Sabres. So I just got the update. That's why I lunged over a little bit.
There's the transition to hockey.
There we go.
All right, guys, I'm useless now.
But yeah, there's my prediction. Tunisia coming out of Group G.
And who's the rest in that group, too? So just a reminder for
England, so it's a really tough pool.
Wow, he's going with all that going on in that group.
Tunisia.
He's pulling for Tunisia.
If there's one European country I feel like that could just get upset in terms of soccer, it's England because they lost to Iceland. So
Iceland's not bad though.
Yeah, but it's a country with 300,000 people.
And apparently they have 11 of them that are pretty good at soccer.
Apparently.
All right, we need to get out of the sport. We are way underqualified to be talking about this sport.
We'll try again in 4 years.
We'll try this all. Well, we still have a few weeks where we can act like experts at soccer. I mean,
I'm like, if I'm watching all the games, I'll be able to talk more about them. But I haven't watched a World Cup game yet because there's only been one so far. It's not even a real game.
Let's be fair. I mean, Russia versus Saudi Arabia, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
The World Cup really starts tomorrow.
When I watch more, I'll be able to actually talk about games. But
Spain-Portugal's tomorrow, by the way.
That
will be a good game.
That'll be a fun one.
But anyway, why don't we steer this out of here and move on to a sport that I think we know just a little bit more about. That is with hockey. And Danny,
I know less.
Danny, we haven't gotten your opinion yet on anything on air. So Stanley Cup Finals, what blew you away, and what are your thoughts about it? You know, a week removed from the whole from the games.
So what initially blew me away was that Vegas lost. Like, really, after that first game, they really controlled the tempo against the Capitals. They were really dominating. They had a lot of shots on net, and it really seemed like my initial prediction was that Vegas was going to win it in five or six games. I really thought it was going to be just a steamroll for Vegas, but especially after that game one loss where they really dominated the Capitals, watching the Capitals really battle back, watching Holtby playing the games of his life, Ovechkin just getting a point in every single game there. The Capitals in general just really surprised me how every one of them was able to really step up and come out on top.
And not only that, too, you had two guys, Wilson and Smith-Pelly, that really stood up during the finals, too. I mean, Wilson had 20 goals throughout the playoffs, and then it was 20 goals or 20 points. I forgot. But then Smith-Pelly racked up 7 goals along, too. I mean, they were a force throughout that playoff. And and honestly, Smith-Pelly, I mean, one, I think the way he played, he's going to get that 7-year contract from Edmonton when they overpay for him. but no, they had a whole plan to go against this Vegas attack where they go primarily off of transition and they go off of the counterattacks. And the Capitals, they had the firepower to skate with them to neutralize their opportunities because I think you can even attest to this too. There was a few times during the games where Vegas couldn't have gotten away with, getting a 2-on-1 breakaway if they were playing Los Angeles or San Jose. Winnipeg, maybe not, but definitely not against the Capitals. It seemed like the defense, they were quick. They were able to get right in front, and they were applying pressure right on their defensive end blue line to really limit the chances they had to go into their offensive zone.
Yeah, the Washington defense really stepped up in that series, and they really needed to because, especially I keep referring to that first game just because I just think it's really important to just notice the improvement from almost disaster of that first game for the Caps onto the rest of the series. Like, the defense was really able to just really tighten up, block those passing lanes. They played really physical, which I also really, really liked from them. And it just proved to be really effective. Like you said, taking away a lot of the lanes, back-checking really well, using that speed to really prevent a lot of odd-man rushes from Vegas. And I really think that without their defense playing the way they did, that Vegas would have went all over them. But I love the adjustment they showed, and I love the speed that they had. And I love the physicality. I cannot say enough good things about the Capitals, really.
Yeah, no, and I think that it really shows justice to it, the Capitals, and the way that they played, because I mean, they had a lot of good chances, but they created a lot of those chances too. And the physical play in front of the net, I thought was superb compared to a lot of other teams that played against Vegas. And it shows that physicality is still in hockey. You can't just deny that anymore because we see some teams that they try to get all these skill guys. But, I mean, and you're looking at these teams now. I mean, Vegas was a team. They were young and fast. Did they have that much yeah, I mean, their top players, I mean, one is 5'9", 170 with Marshall. And then, you know, you had Carlson, and he's not too much bigger either. And, I mean, you're going against the Capitals. Ovechkin, he's 6'2", 220. You have Tom Wilson, who's a cannonball on skates. Smith Pelly, another one. Orpik, Orpik, he might not be the biggest defenseman, but, I mean, he is tough as nails. So he is not afraid to get his hands dirty at all during any of it. It just seems like the Capitals this year, they were men playing hockey. And Vegas, I mean, give them credit. Their speed game worked, but it was at the end of the day, it's still they're not there yet to get that cup because those teams in the East are bruising teams.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
the East and the West are completely different styles of hockey because in the West, and I'm going all over the place here, but the Western Conference, you can see the speed really working out. You can see that with San Jose. You can see that with Anaheim. You can see that with the Golden Knights. I mean, you want to take a stab with Nashville, too. They were pretty quick this year, too. And that's the Western style. But, yeah, in Colorado, too. That's the Western style of hockey where it is a lot of fast pace. But the moment you go east, that is a whole different ballgame over there. Because Tampa Bay, they will murder people on the ice. You have Washington, obviously. You have the Capitals. Or, I'm sorry, not the Capitals, the Penguins. The Penguins are another one where, you know, you're like, oh, Sidney Crosby, you know, yeah, he flops all the time. Yeah, but they have another 19 guys that are ready to bust their nose open, too. And it's a completely different style of hockey. I almost wonder how Vegas would do if they played an Eastern Conference schedule. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's a really great analysis. But I do think that Vegas making it to the finals is going to sort of influence how sort of a lot of teams build their teams going forward. Just seeing how the success of Vegas, I think in the future of the NHL, especially in these next maybe 5-6 years with a lot of the top teams, we're going to see a lot of them lean towards being speedy and being able to really finesse their way around people rather than relying on brute force and skill because it's just getting it's just undeniable the facts that Vegas was just able to skate around everybody and still spend under 30% under their full max cap. Like, and the Capitals are almost at the max cap, and they barely made it to the finals and won. Like, a lot of these teams rebuilding are really going to be looking at like speed going forward rather than actual individual skill, and I really think it's going to sort of tilt the NHL in a different direction going forward.
Were you going to say something?
It sounds a lot like the NBA. Instead of going for the big guys that have, you know, all the skill down low, we're going for speedier guys that, you know, can shoot the three.
I mean, we'll get into this in a little bit, but I mean, I think with the NBA, I think the NBA just got taller. So I think what classifies as small isn't exactly what was small 20 years ago.
One of the smaller teams has been dominating for the last 4 years, though.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I mean, hockey is such a different sport, though, in the sense that it's all really about balance on skates, and it's about speed, and then it's about playing physical after that end. So you could be 5'6", and you could be 180, but you can hit and you can skate fast. You have a place in the NHL, no question about it. I mean, Nathan Gerby is the ultimate example of that. Short guy, little stocky, but he's fast, and that really does play a difference in the NHL game right now. But again, you know, I do agree that the Vegas Golden Knights are probably going to be, I would say, the model for a lot of teams moving forward. But I would almost want to put that with caution too, because although it worked really well, I almost want to see how this would play out within a few years. And I'm not gonna. I'm done bad mouthing Vegas. They made it to the Cup final. I'm done. Like, honestly, they're a good team. I gotta give them credit.
Do you think this style of play is something that teams could catch on and it could work?
I think it is, but they gotta be careful though, because Vegas also proved that when you play against a physical team, it does not go in your favor. And sure, Vegas won the first game, but then 4 games straight, the Capitals just made a small adjustment. They played their style through the whole time, and they were able to kick the crap out of them. I mean, you got to look at that and at least be cause for some worry, because you can't just, you can outskate. And you could go 82 games outskating teams, and you could go rounds in the playoffs outskating teams. But can you win the Cup outskating teams? That's what it comes down to, because the Capitals, they were just playing physical the entire time. And they didn't really care who was in their way. I mean, game 1, for example, Tom Wilson just going out of his way to plow over Marchessault. I mean, everyone thought it was a dirty play. I looked at it, I'm like, all right, he got his 2-minute minor for interference. I think, though, that set the tone, because you're not going to be able just to sit there and freely skate around like a figure skater out there. We're going to plow you over if we get the chance. And I think that really does make a difference.
So,
you got a call?
I got a call, apparently. Well, if it's important, I'll go to voicemail. This is a rage first. Anyway.
We got to call it. Patch him in.
Well, I don't know who they're calling for, so.
Patch him in.
I don't even know who it is. Anyway, we're all sidetracked now because of this. This is just quality podcast-worthy stuff right here. Where do we steer the ship from here?
Where do you want to go?
Let's go to the NBA now since we're here.
All right, yeah.
Let's get Robbie.
We didn't catch the ending of the series last episode.
We did not, because it was the last game. By the way, who called it? Who called it, everybody? Who called it? Golden State blowing them out game 4. I called it, everybody.
They definitely gave up a little bit there at the end of that.
They were out of gas. I don't think they gave up. I think it was more they're out of gas. Here's what I was saying. Here is where I'm going to go with this, Robbie, is that LeBron, game 1, almost had a chance to win. Didn't win. Game 2.
Also broke his hand after game 1 by smashing.
Well, I think he realized how important that game was.
Well, yeah, because
stealing 1 in Golden State would have changed everything.
What we saw from games 2 and 3 is you had to be near perfect to even be in the running at the end of the game. And when they lost that opportunity to lose game 1, it was a much bigger uphill battle from there to try and go and take the series.
Yeah, but anyway, game 2, blowout. Game 3, Cavs almost had a chance. Mm-hmm. Game 4, I think there was just LeBron fatigue at the end. I think it was blatantly obvious. You could tell the Cavaliers are not a good team without LeBron James. And LeBron James... Get out of
here with these people in their takes saying, oh, no, they're still really good basketball players. Now,
who? Who's going to be left with
your
LeBron?
Your best player is Jeff Green.
Tristan Thompson?
Your third best player is Jeff Green.
It's going to be Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. Now,
meanwhile, you're facing a team with a former unanimous MVP. You got Klay Thompson, a guy who could fit on any NBA roster and perform well. And then you got Kevin Durant. And Andre Iguodala is a guy who plays 5 who can shoot the 3 ball, and that's not usually a thing in the NBA. So it's just a matchup nightmare. On top of the fact that you've got almost nobody to play with on the Cavs.
Right.
So it's clearly the better team.
NBA just makes me so mad.
Why is that, Danny?
Well, I feel like I've said it 1,000 times.
You haven't said it on the podcast yet.
How is it fun to watch the NBA?
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, Robbie, how many times was I telling you that this game sucks?
I think we did talk about this on the last Rage, where it's like, how does somebody become a hardcore enough NBA fan to watch all 82 games of the regular season for their favorite team, and then also watch a playoff season that lasts months?
Like I don't understand how anybody sees this as entertaining. 4 straight years of the same teams in the finals when we were still doing the rage. It was like the beginning of the playoffs. I think either Rob or I predicted like this was going to be the finals.
Danny, we predicted this in October. We didn't even need to go that far.
We were like Cavs Warriors Part 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's so ridiculous. Like
now, what I'm going to give credit to the Houston Rockets. They came close.
They came close to upsetting that, and
they came
a great team
really close.
They had a great team put together, and they might even get a guy named LeBron James in the offseason.
We'll get to that. We will get to that.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
Golden State is just too good. They're a super team that shouldn't be a thing because the NBA has a soft cap instead of a hard cap.
Well, forget about that. It's not even a super team anymore. It's a legitimate all-star team.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd see in 2004, 2005 those all-star teams that are based off of a conference. I think that they have the 4 best players in the Western Conference on their team.
4 of their starting 5 could be, on an all-star starting 5. So
I think they were.
Andre Iguodala's the
Wasn't there 1 year that they
right
were?
now.
There's 1 year that they were.
But Andre Iguodala is the only guy right now who probably wouldn't be an all-star starting 5 guy in the Western Conference. But he's still a really good player. He's still a really good player, and the fact that he is your, I guess, 5th best player in this case on this team, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of teams where he'd be the 2nd or 3rd best guy.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like if you put, like, Crosby, Lundqvist, Ovechkin, and Malkin on the same team. Like, you're just not going to beat it.
Yeah. But see, this is the difference. I mean, because me and Danny, we follow the NHL primarily as our winter sport. And, I mean, I've never had an issue, other than, Sabre tank years where going to a game, you're not entertained. Like, your team has a chance to win every single game. It seems like with the NBA, if you're a fan of the New York Knicks and Golden State is coming to town,
you're not buying tickets.
You're buying tickets to watch Golden State play. You are not watching for a competitive basketball game. This is like the Sabres' first tank here, the one that they did on purpose. When the Penguins came to town, everyone goes to watch Sidney Crosby play or to watch Ovechkin play. Now, that was one isolated year. This is a league-wide problem in the NBA because we could go right down the list. The Phoenix Suns, you get 4 games. You get like 3 or 4 games against Golden State a year. You're marketing those games. You're not marketing the Phoenix Suns home games. Come watch Drew Bledsoe try to attempt 20 points tonight. What is that? Like, I really want to know. And I think, to Danny's point, why do people watch it? It's 100% ESPN. Because ESPN is the #1 go-to sports station. Fox Sports 1 is definitely getting up there, but ESPN is definitely the #1 that everyone goes to. It's universal. I was in the Caribbean. They have ESPN down there. You could go, anywhere in the world. ESPN, you're going to get American sports. And whenever American sports outlets tell you about American sports, and with them, it's primarily the sports that they focus on, who's paying them. And that's the NFL and the MLB, or NBA, MLB a little bit. I did want to put the MLB in there, but that's starting to become more of a regionalized sport. That's where the money is right now.
I don't see how you pick the NBA regular season.
It's boring.
Fine. All right, you can just watch the playoffs. But, there's the people that will go to every single game for their team or watch every single game for their team.
And the NBA is corporate ball now. And the NCAA really has the traditional root for your team, and your team has a chance to play in any game and to win any game. With the NBA, you're watching corporate basketball. You got, the teams that have signed the big wig players that are dunking and jumping over cars, while the little teams are getting these, former Kentucky players that may be good one year. You don't really know. It's kind of annoying.
I just cannot imagine what it's like being or even willing to fork over the money to be a season ticket holder for like the Phoenix Suns or the Knicks.
Well, I think you
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets. I cannot like. Well, what does it take?
I think you buy season tickets.
It's crazy because
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think you buy season tickets for the off chance that your team becomes the super team. I think because if you asked a Golden State Warriors fan 7 years ago what's about to happen to their franchise,
they didn't have fans 7
They
years
didn't
ago.
have that many. I mean, they had fans, but they weren't like this. I mean, you keep
half the country's a Golden State Warriors
buy
fan.
your season tickets for the years that this happens, where you can make a huge profit off of your tickets, and at the same time you go to all the playoff games. And you're really invested into the team itself. It's different than with the NHL. The NHL, I mean, you're buying it solely for your team. I mean, there's going to be some of the big teams like the Leafs and the Rangers that are more of that corporate crowd and all that. But the NBA, their crowd, don't think for a second that their crowd is like an NFL game. I look at those fans. It looks very corporate.
That's another thing, is that the energy's not nearly as high at the NBA game.
Well, I mean, I think that's the reason.
You have, let's pretend it's December, regular season NBA basketball.
Before Christmas.
Before Christmas, say December 6th, 7th.
Okay, yeah.
All right? You have so many more options in sports and early December than NBA regular season basketball.
Well, I mean,
college football is still going.
Yeah.
You
Bowl
got
games.
Bowl games. All right.
And,
okay, but yeah, so you got college football bowl games. You've got college basketball.
So that's starting to heat up.
And December's when a lot of tournaments are happening.
Not only that, the non-conference games where you're going to have like the Dukes playing Kentucky's and all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so NFL's still a thing.
You're getting towards the end of the season.
But yeah, so that's just. Why would you pick the NBA and how boring of a basketball product it is?
Yeah, you forgot to throw in the NHL too. They're 2 months into the season.
Yeah,
there's so much better sports going on than regular season NBA basketball.
Yeah,
when you can handpick you can give 100% certainty that these are the teams are going to be in the playoffs. There'll be a few that are going to be a surprise because that's the cusp of the 8 from each conference.
Mm-hmm.
But you could probably pick 5 or 6 teams from each conference and say there's a pretty good chance that they're going to make the playoffs. It's that predictable because.
5 and 6, I think that's generous because again, I know that the way that we've been talking about it and with the accuracy that we've been going to, I mean, it's the same 2 teams in the finals the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And to even make it further too, the Eastern Conference had 1 team for 4 years again before that. Now it wasn't as bad as it is now, but that's 8 years where you could essentially look and be like, I know who's going to be the Eastern Conference, champion. I mean. That's a little insane.
Just pick the team LeBron's on because he's just that good.
Well, what if LeBron goes in the West now? Because I think that changes things.
Yeah. Well,
here we go. We're here now.
If LeBron goes over to the West, before we even talk about where he could possibly end up, if LeBron goes over to the West, it's going to be a fight between Philly and Boston for the next 5-6 years because Philly's got all the young talent and the makings of something great. And then you got Boston, who's got essentially a super team once they're healthy. And then you'll have Toronto in there, but they'll get blown 4-0 for whatever reason, even though they have a decent team in one of their series. So they'll never make the finals.
Well, now since we're here, let's go into where LeBron can end up going. And I think there's going to be a lot of intriguing destinations as we move forward in this. Now, I think the big one that everyone seems to be talking about right now is the Los Angeles Lakers.
I think that's where all the sports books are that's the biggest chance he's going to go. To LA.
I think that for him as a post-professional basketball career, this would be the best opportunity for him, saying that he could just start to merge himself into LA. Of course, I mean, he's LeBron James. He's been to LA. He's already acted in some movies and all of that. So he's familiar, but now he can start living there and being closer to all of that. I think for him, that might be if I was LeBron James, I'd go LA. Personally.
The problem is, can LA put together a good enough team to take down the Warriors from LeBron?
Well, let me ask you this then, because LeBron James with the Cavaliers, I'd almost argue that no matter what, if he's going on one of those Western teams, he's going to end up putting himself on a better team. Mm-hmm. And, who knows what they're going to be able to be capable of.
If he ends up at LA, they're going to have to get Paul George or Chris Paul.
It'll probably be Paul George. If
not both. But
they probably could get both.
There would be some training and stuff going on to make that happen, but he's gonna need at least one.
Well, I can tell you who they're gonna get rid of if they want to get CP3.
It's crazy that LeBron has to create a super team to beat what the Golden State Warriors are now.
Well, I think that this will be good for the NBA too. Before I get to what I was about to say too, is that you're gonna get more Warriors versus LeBron games. If he goes in the Western Conference, I think that's huge for the NBA because you only had 2 during the regular season. I think those are the only 2 games a casual NBA fan really cares about during the regular season. But in terms of LeBron, if they were going to be able to get CP3 to go to the Lakers, I think the thing that they're going to be looking for is to get rid of Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, Lonzo, I think if LeBron ends up at the Lakers, has a really good chance of getting traded. I think Magic is going to be glad to get off the ball train. Yeah. He won't have to deal with LeVar anymore. And
he's calmed down.
He has calmed down. I'll give him that. He's been much better lately. But Lonzo is like a mystery with the NBA right now because he got injured for a bunch of the season. Mm-hmm. But there were points where he showed he's going to be a great player, and then there were other points where it's he can't really shoot that well. So Lonzo's a big question mark. So it's going to be interesting to see if he gets traded, what the Lakers can get out of that trade.
I think that even if the Lakers get LeBron and Paul, like you guys have been kind of talking about, I just still don't think they're going to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I
really think the Warriors are going to win next year.
I really think if LeBron wants a shot at winning a championship, he's either got to go to Philly, Houston, or to the Spurs. The Spurs will always have a good veteran core around him. So I think the Spurs are a really good place for LeBron. I think Houston's probably the best, and then Philly's right there in the hunt. But I think LA is definitely likely. He's shown he's wanted to be in LA.
Well, there's been reports that there's people in the entertainment industry are saying that they're already preparing for LeBron to be there.
Yeah, but I really think if I don't know if LeBron's going to be able to put together a team that's good enough to take down the Warriors in LA.
Yeah.
And the fact that it hurt if he goes there and he can't take down the Warriors, it hurts his legacy a little more because he can't even get it to the finals in that regard because he's not beating the Warriors in the playoffs. And the West is the tougher conference, so not only does he have to worry about the Warriors, he's also got to worry about the Rockets. James Harden's not easy to get by.
Well, I would almost say that would be more inclined for him if he wants to win to go into the Eastern Conference because I think that would probably be the best path for him and then try to assemble the best team that he could in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. I mean, that's what he's been doing throughout his entire career. I mean, between Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, it's always been to get the best talent around him.
Yeah.
And, before we get to that too, I just want to say that the whole, I'm coming home thing, let's be real. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love going to the Cavaliers was more of the reason why he wanted to go home. I mean, we can all get...
He saw a better situation than for what Miami was.
Right. I mean, Chris Bosh, you didn't know what was going on with him.
Miami was running out of gas.
Yeah.
So, and now they're finally starting to pick things back up again. Not to the same degree because it's not LeBron, but...
It's a well-ran team, so they're going to make a little bit of noise over there.
But, it was about the players. I don't think the home part's an icing on the cake that he gets to come back home.
And he can sell that, and it makes him money.
Him and his wife are from Akron, so his foundation's based there as well. So it's logistically it's smart, and it was a perfect situation for him. But this is the second time now that he's been in Cleveland, and ownership has messed everything up, and they're going to lose out on the greatest player of all time.
Twice.
So, good job, Dan Gilbert.
Yeah. Is he going to write a whole hate-filled speech this time?
I don't know. I can't wait to see how many LeBron jerseys get burned once he leaves.
You know how many they should be burned? Zero. Because that man gave you a freaking championship, and you're all ungrateful because you couldn't even keep him around.
Not only did he give you a championship, he gave you one of the most improbable championships of all times against a 73-win team.
Yeah. And you're going to burn his jersey.
A team that lost less than 10 games.
Well, it's Cleveland, Ohio. What do you expect? I mean, I don't sit here and make generalities at a lot of cities, but Cleveland is definitely one of the ones because they're just all...
They're really bratty with their sports.
They are. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not because I know I'm not. But, They're kind of like Boston in that regard. They're a little bratty when it comes to sports. They really have nothing to be bratty about, though.
Yeah, but Cleveland doesn't have it.
What does Cleveland have that they can brag about?
The thing is, Boston can boast about World Series titles and NHL. And, what do you got going on over in Cleveland?
What, you have one NBA championship and a Calder Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. Rochester has 6.
Yeah. So a bunch of jerseys are going to get burnt. It's going to be funny because you're just dumb for doing that. Why would you burn something you paid for?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have value anymore, though. I mean, that's what
totally has value.
What value does it have?
It has value from the fact that LeBron James came back from Cleveland. You're wearing the jersey from the time he came back to win his team for your city. All right, it'll definitely have value down the line.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna have value immediately.
Right.
Well,
but even if you are a true Cleveland sports fan and you're not a brat, you're gonna be like, this jersey's special for me because LeBron came back.
All right. Maybe I gotta wrap this up a little bit. In terms of right when he leaves, it's gonna have probably minimal value.
To the stupid people.
But honestly, if you wanted a good investment, go buy yourself a LeBron jersey once he leaves. Yeah, that would be a pretty solid investment right there.
Yeah, because once he retires, that jersey is going to go right back up.
Yep. It's like Dominic Hasek jerseys.
Right, exactly like Dominic Hasek jerseys.
Exactly like that. You can't even get one now under $400. It's crazy. Yeah. But, yeah, so lots of things going on in the NBA. I wanted to get a little bit into the NFL.
Okay.
I'm actually very excited about the Bills right now.
The Bills.
The only thing that's making me worry right now is the quarterback situation, but the defense looks really good right now. To what I've been hearing, the front seven looks like they're starting to line up a little bit better. I think the secondary, they're set. Quarterback's going to be fun. And when we go through the summers on this show,
the quarterback, it's going
to be a 3-ring circus.
It's going to make or break the season. WGR is going to do nothing but talk about quarterback.
Like they did 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But yeah, that the Bills are a good team as long as they have a competent quarterback.
Yeah,
I think they need somebody that's serviceable. They don't need a Tom Brady. They don't need a star like Cam Newton or something.
Well, that will win you a championship, but
it would. But
yeah.
I don't think they need that per se to get deep into the playoffs.
I'm going to say this. I mean,
they just need somebody who's decent.
I'll tell you right now, I'm on the train of A.J. McCarron. Because A.J. McCarron, he's had success with postseason play in Cincinnati. He started that game against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He should have won that game. And I'm almost saying that you can give him the win in that game. The only difference is that the Cincinnati defense that was probably the biggest brain fart I've ever seen on national television. I mean, right after Brissett catches the ball, runs out of the tunnel. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. But I think A.J. McCarron is going to be one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league, and I think he's going to prove it this year. He is deadly accurate from short range. I think that he's not going to necessarily need to be the guy to throw the deep ball. They can hold off on Allen right now, which I think that's what they need to do.
I think definitely that they should hold off on Allen, especially since he's shown an accuracy issues since his entire career.
Keep going. I'm just going to pull the quote.
The guy's not accurate. He's got the big arm. You got to work on the accuracy over the next year. I don't think he should see much playing time. He should be seeing playing time in blowouts and during the preseason.
But they can't do what they did to Nate Peterman
out there.
You can't
you got to ride the wave of the fact that your team just made the playoffs for the first time and since the dark ages. But
I'm going to say I pulled up the quote now. And Robin, stop me when this sounds familiar, okay? This was LaShawn McCoy yesterday. It was right after the practice, or I'm sorry, this was 2 days ago. This was right after practice. LaShawn McCoy up in the media, and he's describing Josh Allen. Strong arm, really smart, and throw the ball in places he shouldn't be throwing them in. Isn't this the things that were talked about with Josh Allen when he was at Wyoming? I mean, listen, nobody's doubting the fact that he's got a strong arm. Nobody's doubting the fact that he's smart.
That does not make you a good quarterback. Like, if you had the accuracy already and you've got the strong arm too, cool. But part of being quarterback is being accurate.
Yeah.
If you can't throw the ball in the right places, you're screwed.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, you can have 5 bad passes in an NFL game. Those 5 bad passes are interceptions, and those are turnovers, and the other team could score off of your turnovers. I mean, you got to be careful with the accuracy thing. You don't have to have a cannon to win in the NFL. It's nice to have a cannon. It's probably preferred to have a cannon. But if you're going through the job description of an NFL quarterback, I think under required skill, accuracy is definitely in there.
It's why a guy like Joe Flacco still has a job.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't have the most amazing arm or anything, but he can get the job done, and he's serviceable enough to get you to a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
I'm still just bewildered about the whole Josh Allen pick and everything.
I'm still having.
I'm still kind of like post-traumatic shock that Rosen was there for you to take a ready quarterback that could play this season over McCarron, and you picked Josh Allen. I can't believe that.
Well, you know why?
Same thing.
I can tell you why that they would take him. I've been thinking about this for a while. Is that when you're a team that's run by a process, so like you have a system of doing things, you could probably think that you can get whatever kind of players you want. You want to get the best skill and have them go through your process. Now, is it an effective strategy? When it works, absolutely. Because then you have a team that everybody, what their role is, what they're going to do, multiple roles, what is your game plan? And you know what your game plan is.
Yeah.
So their theory is that you're going to throw a guy like Josh Allen, who he's very raw. He's got the arm, he's got the talent, he just needs to get it right up here. He's got the tools to do it up there. He's a smart kid, but he's definitely somebody that you need to get through the process because he isn't doing it right now at Wyoming. And you got to be able to give him the opportunities to shine. So you're thinking, put this guy through the process, and you'll get yourselves a good quarterback at the end. As opposed to Rosen, where, he's already got the tools. He's a little bit more mature. You're going to put him through there. He might think, I'm going to do it this way instead. And I can tell you why that can alienate a coach is because, especially when you're running a program like what, McDermott's doing right now, he wants it a certain way. Every player is doing something a certain way. You start to have players that think that they can do it on their own, that kind of raises a red flag to a coach like McDermott.
Yeah.
But am I saying that this is right or wrong? That I'm not going into that part of what McDermott is because, frankly, the guy made the playoffs last year with the Bills that haven't made it in 17 years beforehand. I'll take it. You know what? Prove me wrong. That's what I've been saying since the Josh Allen pick. And I'm going to keep riding this train until it runs out of gas. Just prove me wrong.
Yeah, I guess I could say the same thing because I don't believe in the pick whatsoever. I think it's going to crash and burn.
I can see how this works. I haven't seen it work yet, so it's making me nervous.
It's going to crash and burn like Nathan Peterman.
Well, can we all agree that Nathan Peterman was not even close to the talent Allen has? Can we all agree on that?
I can agree on that, but they just kept riding him for 5 interceptions. Like, just keep going, bud.
Yeah,
that was one of I think we forget the fact that game happened during the season that the Bills finally made the playoffs. That ridiculous game.
I'm not gonna lie. After that game, I needed to take a walk for 2 hours. I literally walked all the way to Tonawanda and back, just listening to WGR, and I'm just like, what just happened? Like, because that was what that game was a complete train wreck. And I think Danny, were you on the show during that game?
I cannot remember.
You probably would have remembered, so you probably weren't. That irritated me to no end. But it shows what McDermott is about. And that is It's the systematic process, and it's
He
about
stuck to his
getting the
guns
best
after.
players in at that moment. And he thought Nate Peterman at that moment was the best. Now, I would say, Danny, this would be the equivalent of having what's-his-face in the Capitals start game 1 and 2. Grubauer, thank you. I would say it's almost like that, in the sense that you need something to spark up the team. But in both cases, they failed, but then they got to where they were supposed to go.
They didn't have 5 own goals, so
That is also fair, but I mean, Garberall, though, he did not look good in those first 2 games, though, Danny. I remember we were talking about this. It was almost like, what are you guys doing? You're about to blow the first round. You're not even going to make it to the Penguins series if you keep this up.
Would an own goal in the NHL be the equivalent of an interception in the NFL?
No. I think I think a safety. I would say safety.
Wait, but the thing is, 2 points.
It doesn't happen often.
2 points and a safety.
Well, I think. Well, hold on. I don't think Robbie necessarily has the tools to ask the question that he needs to ask. So let me ask you in a certain way for you. Are we talking about an intentional own goal, or are we talking about a deflected own goal? Because those are 2 separate beasts.
That's tough because I can't say that Nathan Peterman was doing the interceptions intentionally. He was just too bad.
Well, I mean, the intentional own goal.
Honestly.
Well, hold on. Maybe we need to redefine this again for Robbie. The intentional own goal is a missed pass into an empty net.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like,
so it's intentional.
misplaying a puck. It's not intentionally shooting it in your own net. It's more like,
all right. That's what you mean.
All
right. So yeah, let's go with intentional own goal.
Intentional
own
goal.
What would the equivalent of that be in football?
Oh boy, I mean,
I'd say safety.
But like a safety is just 2 points.
Pick 6.
So okay, yeah.
I don't think. I think Nate Peterman had
I don't think a safety has enough consequences compared to an own goal in hockey. So like, an interception though has huge implications.
Well, I mean, the value of a touchdown is 7 points, and that's more than 2 field goals. So
yeah.
I don't. All right, we're completely on a completely different world that we probably should get back from.
It's not the rage if we don't do this.
That is true.
We are in a different world.
We have officially crossed galaxies into a separate dimension right now. But anyway, backing this whole thing up to Josh Allen. Listen, could he be good? Yes. Do I think he could be good? I have no idea, and that scares me. I mean, unless – and here's the thing. Rosen, I know, will be pretty good. Is he going to be great? I don't know.
I don't know.
Could he be? Is he going to be good? He'll be pretty good.
There's gonna be 2 busts on this quarterback draft.
Is Sam Darnold gonna be good?
No.
He might be pretty good.
I refuse. I think he's the bust. I think he's the bust of the draft.
I don't think that they're gonna manage it properly. I'm gonna tell you that much.
It's the Jets.
How many quarterbacks do they have on that team right now that could legitimately start on the Cleveland Browns? Like, okay,
that's hard. That's hard. That's not nice to the Cleveland Browns because everybody knows that any quarterback could start at the Cleveland Browns.
Robbie Johnson for Cleveland Browns quarterback 2018.
Yeah, then you have Bills fans like, oh, Rob Johnson's back in the NFL, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, the Jets are going to misplay Sam Darnold because I think the way that they're treating him right now is completely different than all of the other teams that just drafted a quarterback. You look at the Cleveland Browns. You have your 1-year stopgap with Tyrod Taylor, and then you can throw in Baker Mayfield, which, Lord help us all. One of the 2 busts in the draft, I think he's going to be one of them.
He's definitely got boomer bust on it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
He's very edgy. I do like that in a quarterback. However, I don't see his talents necessarily adding up.
He reminds me of Tebow a little bit.
Really?
You might get a couple years out of him.
I see more. Man,
he reminds me.
I see Russell Wilson without the speed.
He reminds me of Tebow a bit. I don't. We'll see if he pans out.
They wasted the number 1 pick though on a potential Tim Tebow though. That's a little terrifying right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, going through the list again here. Sam Darnold with the Jets. Probably he's probably not going to bust. I mean, he's got some raw talent. Now he wasn't good at USC.
That's
in this last year.
Yeah.
Now USC quarterbacks playing for the Jets has not always been a great thing.
Hey, as long as we get another butt fumble, I'm okay.
Oh, I'm down for another butt fumble.
As long as we get another butt fumble, I'm okay.
Oh, I'm down for another butt fumble. So, again, though, got to be a little bit careful with him. Then you look at Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, he's got Sam Bradford that's going to be most likely starting this coming year, with him potentially coming in at some point. But what the Jets are doing to what was I thinking? Oh yeah, to what Josh Allen with the Bills. They have AJ McCarron, maybe Nate Peterman. They might be going in Fed, but it's not like
Peterman still on a roster.
Apparently, Nate Peterman had a good day in practice on Thursday, or on Wednesday. Just wanted to throw that one out there, but
so what? He threw 4 picks instead of 5.
But here's the thing, though.
He lowered the bar so much.
Jets, the way that the Jets are right now is that you have way too many mouths that are being fed on that quarterback depth chart right now. And I can't see how he's going to develop with all of that going on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Because it's almost like you're going to be fighting for your job now, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to see how this whole thing plays out because it's going to be – but isn't Teddy Bridgewater, he's now under contract for them?
I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank.
Whatever the case, like, I don't even know what the Jets are doing. Are they going to start Darnold? Are they going to start Bridgewater?
The Jets are a mess to begin with, so it's
just... Is McCown going to play again? Like, what are you guys doing?
Re-sign Fitzpatrick.
They could. You never really know.
Are the Jets going to be a team in 10 years? We don't know.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
All right.
What a parallel universe that would be.
We have a few minutes. I do want to bring up something we talked about last episode, and then we can tell Daniel what the inside joke is now. But the Triple Crown happened again.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie, you're the one that was a little.
I didn't want
you were anti-Triple Crown, so take us through the fastest 2 minutes of sports.
We need less Triple Crowns to make the Triple Crown special. If the Triple Crown happens this often, then it's dumb.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even realize the Triple Crown happened until I got the update.
No one cares about horse racing outside of gambling and the 3 big races every year. If the Triple Crown keeps happening, no one's going to care about the 3 big races every year because it's just, it happened again.
I miss it when it was a thing that never really – I remember the one year where the guy or the one horse that won 2 races but then lost to a horse that only ran 1 race that year, ended up winning the 3rd race, and he ended up just losing his shit on the media saying how it should be against the rules for a horse that isn't –
Says who?
Like
a dumb rule.
It isn't a dumb rule. That's just how horse racing has been the last 150 years.
No, I'm calling like it would be a dumb rule if you said, like you can't do that. Like you
so
can't.
what? The same 20 horses have to run the same race? If I walk
into a random shed in Pulaski, New York, and find a horse that's faster than all the other horses into the 3rd big race of the year, I'm gonna go enter that horse and win a race.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
I'll do that right now. Yeah. I'll just look at my backyard. I'm sure I can find one.
See, there we go. The Rage is going to sponsor a horse for next year's Preakness Stakes. Are we doing the Preakness or are we doing Belmont?
I
feel like we should do Belmont because it gets a couple more races under that horse's belt. We're going to enter a horse into the Belmont Stakes, and we're going to take that puppy home. Who's going to ride it? Is Santander going to ride it? He's probably the smallest one that could ride it.
Santander?
Is he even a part of our staff anymore?
I don't even know where he is or what he's doing.
He's somewhere in Westchester, being a Westchester kid right now. I asked him about being a part of the podcast. He just never answered. So I guess that's not a no.
It's not a no.
It's not a no. But anyway, while we close off our condensed rage today, and it's been good to have Danny back in the mix. Although Danny doesn't have complete moderating powers today, so.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he kind of has his powers taken away. You can't take away the microphone anymore. So I do like that.
You're right. I can't rip it away from you.
Yeah, I do like that. Although Robbie was a little bit nervous before the show today with some of the pre-talk banter, but we won't get into that for obvious reasons.
I'm just glad that the most we talked about Saudi Arabia was their soccer team. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, back to the inside joke that Danny must have missed. I don't know if you watched The Rage or not from last week. He probably did it because he's not invested in the show because he sucks. But we broke a new record. By the way, can you use basketball? That could have been bad. We broke a Paige Rage record last week. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. We don't talk about the NBA that much on the Rage.
Correct.
And so, with that, we don't really talk about too many teams on the Rage, correct?
Correct.
So, can you name me some Western Conference teams just off the bat here? Just, throw some teams out there for me. I'll let you know if that's the team we're talking about.
In the NBA?
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Denver in the Western?
Denver is, but it wasn't them.
Golden State.
Yep.
Wasn't them.
Houston.
Wasn't them.
Was it a team in the playoffs?
Yes.
It was a team in the playoffs.
Yes, it was.
Spurs?
Yes.
It was
No,
the Spurs.
not the Spurs. Not the Spurs.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Was it the San Antonio? No, they are the Spurs.
They are the Spurs.
There's no San Diego either.
The Pelicans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
No.
Not New Orleans.
No.
Los Angeles. Either of the Los Angeles teams.
No.
Clippers, Lakers.
No.
No, neither of them were in the playoffs.
They both weren't.
Oh God, who else is in the NBA?
This is a new fun game.
This is what you guys get for riding me with hockey. We're gonna just ride Danny with the NBA now.
At least it's hard to do this on me.
Utah.
Yes!
Ooh, the Jazz. All right.
Talking
We
about the
broke
Jazz.
a record of talking about the Utah Jazz on the Rage. We must have talked to them about, 12 different instances?
They got mentioned a lot. They got a lot of marketing out of the Rage.
Hashtag Jazz Lives Matters. We're now the official sponsor of the Utah Jazz here on the Rage.
We like the Buffalo Sabres and the Utah Jazz here.
Yes, that is correct.
I'm proud of you guys.
This is officially the Utah Jazz.
See, when we don't have Danny on the show, we just talk about the Utah Jazz.
Mormon power.
This is why you guys need me.
This show completely gets derailed. But anyway, yes, we are now the official podcast of the Utah Jazz, and I don't think there's too many other podcasts for the Utah Jazz, so I think we're safe there.
I'm going to put that in the Twitter bio after the show. Official podcast of the Utah Jazz.
Yes. So, you know what? Listen, they play defense, and they win games. What's not to like about the Utah Jazz?
They play defense on half the league.
3/4 of the league.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
Yep, so that's what you missed. We are now the official Utah Jazz podcast of the United States. I can't talk to Canada, but we are for the United States. So, with all of that, we've officially hit our 1 hour mark today. We are in Paige Rage single overtime today. So Robbie's going to take us through all of the new technology that we're going to be utilizing for next week. So go ahead, Robbie.
So next week, our primary platform is going to be YouTube. We're going to live stream through YouTube. Danny's going to be on the screen for you to see in YouTube. So that'll be really cool. So even though he'll be calling in, you get to see his face and his voice much clearer. So we all know that's what you can't come here for. So
you come here for the Danny. You stand me and Robbie.
Come for the Danny, stay for the Utah Jazz. But we'll do that. I'm I'm trying to get my head around the whole podcasting thing.
We do have a SoundCloud account. We just got to figure out how to work it.
Yeah, we're going to try and convert the videos to audio, and then so we can throw it on different podcasting outlets so that you could listen to it as well for whatever reason, even though you want to see Danny's face.
And we'll be sure to link it all through Twitter and through Facebook, too. Facebook Live, I don't think we're going to be touching you. You're going to be still fine. Facebook Live, you're fine.
Facebook Live will be a thing. Periscope was a one-shot from last
we didn't like it.
I didn't. It was too complicated to get a broadcast started in Periscope. YouTube's so much easier. So, and I've had a ton of experience from illegally streaming college basketball games on YouTube. So
totally legally.
It wasn't me. It's a sentient rock. But
you guys should follow that account. It's actually fantastic.
Justin Moss was unjustly dismissed from the University of Buffalo.
Oh my God! All right.
But yeah. So there'll be a YouTube Live link. And the cool thing about YouTube Live is the broadcast will be there way before it even starts. So like you can bookmark the link and everything beforehand, and we'll also share the link, and then the broadcast will start up as soon as we hit streaming from the platform and not even on YouTube. So it'll be much smoother. It'll look much better next week. So that's what we got going on.
And then on our end too, we'll make sure we find a better time that we can be consistent with too for Facebook Live people. We got to worry about a certain somebody who's a little bit difficult to make plans with. So
I'm sorry.
We still love you, Danny. We want everybody involved because I know you all stay for a couple of days.
Let's just shoot to have the show at 4 a.m. on Fridays.
Yeah. Let's do it.
4 a.m.
I'll tell you, our audience in China will be huge. We got to find some Chinese sports to talk about.
We have the biggest ratings in China.
I mean, hey, we're super popular in other countries, like the U.S. Virgin Islands. That was a joke, people. Get it? United States. Ha, ha, ha.
Let them go already.
Yeah, let them.
Yeah, all right. Get out of here, Facebook Live. We're done. Thank you for listening. Robbie will be putting the videos up on YouTube or sometime tomorrow. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. Peace out, people.